Back. I'm gonna do a whole video on my MRI results that just came back. I have to go back in and get more imaging on my neck. It's like the one thing they didn't get a full image of for some reason. So they scheduled me an appointment. But my back is not in good shape. It really sucks. This is why having muscle mass and muscle is so important, because it really does protect you. Even when the rest of your body is broken, it does kind of shield you from pain. But I guess it could be kind of the downside of that, is it can mask the pain or the injury for a long period of time. So then you start doing things, and eventually those injuries, can no longer be hidden and protected by your muscle. So that's when you start to have issues with, throwing your back out, which that's something that I've been dealing a lot with. Like not even doing like exercise, right? Like not even doing any kind of fitness related stuff. One day I was outside spraying weeds in my front yard, and I was bending over, and I had the jug of weed sprayer, and then just like bent down, had the weed sprayer in one hand, the wand in the other. I bent down and I took a step, dropped to my knees in my front yard, completely just like my back just seized up. And then, I was pretty much out of commission for, like a month and a half. Like my back was just so weak. It hurt, it ached every day, no matter what I did. I stayed moving though. I stayed, trying to stretch it out and, stay active, not, never let an injury completely put me down. But yeah, it's one of those things where, you start to get to a point where that just becomes normal. It's not cool, For any of you younger people out there, and when I mean younger, I'm talking, late teens, 16 to early 20s, especially young men who, you work out, you do all these things. Don't take your body for granted. If there's anything that I could try to teach somebody, it's that, we only get one body. We only get one of these. And if you're not good to it, and you beat it up time and time again, right? Like when we're young, we can crash into the ground, we can wreck our bicycles, dirt bikes, we can do all these different things, and we pretty much bounce back like that. But all those injuries that you suffer when you're young will, at one point, come back to completely irritate you in your adult life. That's why it's probably better to train more like an athlete over a bodybuilder. At least if you train like an athlete, you're training in all planes of motion, you're doing these different things, you're putting stress and you know, on your tendons and your joints in all different directions, unlike a bodybuilder who trains in a very, you know, stationary position to build, you know, each individual muscle. They're not very athletic. So, you know, I've trained both. I do wish that I would have focused more on being, at a certain point, training more athletic, more agility, more flexibility. Now at 35, I'm trying to incorporate that back and do more flexibility, more stretching, more, you know, more prehab with a little bit of rehab, because now I'm not avoiding an injury. I am now trying to rehab injuries that I've had for a very long time, that I've kind of just, you know, ignored, didn't really pay much attention to, and I'm paying for it. I really am. I am paying for it now. Oh man, I sure hope this shitty Chinese bench survives. Probably put it up just a little bit higher, but I think we'll be all right here. Haven't done incline in a while. Oh boy. Boy. Oh. What is that? 135 plus 50. 185? Yikes. I'll say I'm somewhat satisfied with that. Probably just keep it at 185 so I don't hurt myself. Plus, I don't think this bench, I don't think that bench can handle any more weight than that. So. I think what's crazy is the whole disability thing with the VA and the medical system inside the Veteran Affairs is they would assume that there's nothing wrong with me because I exercise. But if I were to be 400 pounds and I went in and said, hey, you know, I've got these pains, I've got these aches, you know, I've got these injuries from when I was in the military, and they would then, the first thing they would look at is, well, you're overweight, right? You're too fat. So then you leave, you go. Let's say, you know, in a couple years, you drop 200 pounds, okay? You go back in, you're like, hey, I start exercising, start getting my health in order, blah, 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 blah. Then they would go, oh, okay, cool. Well, you were able to do all these things, you're able to exercise, you must not be in that much pain. When in reality, the reason why most people aren't in as much pain, or it's masked pain, is because they take care of themselves to a certain point. But eventually that body is going to start to break down, and all of those injuries that you suffered years and years and years and years ago will start to show themselves. And I think the reason why they don't just throw out MRIs and all these things is because if they had to MRI you at the time of the injury, that would be further documentation for years up the road that you could say, look, see, I was injured then, but now they can go, oh, well, let's just go ahead and give it to you. And then they can play the, well, we don't know when you injured that because, you know, you're somebody who exercises. Maybe you injured it while you were working out, because there's no way it couldn't have happened when I damn near fell to my death out of an airplane and smashed into the earth and tore my abdomen and blew out a fucking hernia in my stomach, my groin, destroyed behind my nutsack, damn near ripped the freaking muscle off the top of my right testicle. There's no way that my back was severely compressed, if not already compressed many jumps before that, in rucking and running and ruck running and plate carrier runs and all those things, to put me in that position to where now, you know, I'm worse off. So, I don't know. I'm not a medical doctor, but the way my brain works, I think, is not, I think more of an illogical way than this is what the documentation tells us type of mentality. You know, I'm going to compare you to everybody else kind of thing. So that's my gripe, my complaint. You know, I'm not a tall person, never was. I used to be 5'9" with no shoes on. I'm definitely still 5'9" with shoes on, but when I take my shoes off, I'm a little bit below 5'9". I even feel shorter. Like, I personally feel like I am shorter. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. Before you know it, I'm gonna be an Oompa Loompa. That's not fair. My super awesome Nemo chair, the Moonlight. It's great. Support up to like 350 pounds, so works for me. I'm not 350 pounds, I'm 230, so. Anyways, workout is finished. It was a nice little incline chest, which I have not done in quite some time either. Trying to stick to my compound movements, but change them up a little bit. It's good to do that, so you don't plateau completely. And I do this fairly regularly where I'll just kind of stick to like one style of workout once I kind of start to feel that I'm not really progressing anymore, or I'm starting just to stay sore too long. Like in my shoulders, I notice I'll kind of make some minor tweaks. Plus, it keeps things fun. Working out's fun anyways, but it's nice to just make small changes. Don't change anything drastically, because you still want to build each body part kind of similarly, but there are different ways to attack all of them. But yeah, so that's kind of the workout. I'm a little tired today. I was gonna sit in the sauna, but maybe I'll save that for later tonight before bed. It's good to kind of helps kind of wind you down a little bit, especially when your body kind of starts to ache throughout the day. It's nice to kind of end the day with a nice relaxation. So, but yeah, that's it. I don't really got a whole lot more to say. I'm gonna go shower, eat some lunch, and probably look at starting the remodel of my downstairs at my house. So, sounds fun, huh? Yeah.